Peace, it's Equality Fragrances coming to you from Prince George's County, Maryland. Welcome to my cipher. A cipher is a person, place, a thing within my circumference. The understanding of my cipher is peace. For all those new to the channel and those who have been supporting me since day one, I humbly appreciate all your support. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I drop some new videos. All of that goes a long way in helping the channel grow and it costs you nothing to do. With that being said, come on in, sit down, and let's build. Today, we're going to be doing our final installment of Rose Week. Today's list is going to be 5 with one honorable mention, seductive and romantic rose fragrances you would wear for Valentine's Day. Now, that could be any fragrance I've already spoke about, but this is going to be down to the last 6 choices I'm going to personally wear for Valentine's Day. I don't know what it's going to be. Follow me on IG and you will know what fragrance I'll be wearing on Monday. So with that being said, I want to answer a few questions that have been asked in my IG inbox and even some comments within my YouTube video. Some people say, well, Equality, I don't really like rose fragrances that smell like grandma, this and that. And to be honest and respectful, I say this respectfully, most people, reviewers included, don't even know what rose smell like. We know what our idea of rose is based on red roses and going to a florist shop or the grocery store and buying our significant other roses. But in the grand scheme of perfumery, that is trash rose. No one is, at least no quality rose is even using a red rose. All roses that are being used are mostly pink. They're all pink outside of Taif, which is pink and red. Most people have never smelt that, your reviewers included. They just haven't. They smelt it in fragrances, but they haven't smelt it alone. Within that, you have different, and that's why I like rose, because it's too complex. Depending on where you get it from, you're gonna have a different faucet. You have rose otto, you have rose damascena, you got rose centifolio, and you got rose absolute, you got rose geranium, you got all these different faucets that are used or molecules used to in perfumery is rose that if you really don't know what each one smells like, you'll be missing it. Because a lot of y'all like rose fragrances, you just don't know you're smelling it because it's smelling really fruity. Most of these roses have a fruity faucet, and that's what you're smelling, and you're used to smelling this powdery, soapy rose, and not all of them come that way, depending on how you combine them. Now, you will say, well, Equality, you just do a little bit of shade. Well, why are we watching you, and how do you know? Because I'm a firm believer in a particular note that's as complex as rose, especially if you love that note, you should really dive into it and educate yourself. You do that by buying essential oils from companies in order to smell that particular note by itself to be able to identify it in fragrance. So for example, I have several essential oils in my hand right now. I'm not going to say the company because I'm not sponsored by the company. I'm not about to send thousands of dollars of customers to them unless we're working together. That's just a business thing. I'm not going to do it. But if you go on Google, type in essential oils, look up whatever you want to look up, whether it's a leather cord or different amber cords, whether it's grapefruit, lime. We all know what those kind of smell like, but when it comes to rose, most of us has never smelled a particular rose. And that's, like for instance, I got geranium note rose. If you look at it, it almost has a light green tinge to it. Then I have something like, this is Rose Absolute, the trilogy. So you have a lot of different roses, Rose Damascena, and you can see that's a little bit red and slightly syrupy. Then you get something like Rose Absolute Bulgarian Rose, extremely jammy, honey, almost raspberry, very fruity. And you can see how dark that juice is. And I have cardamom in here. I have Rose de Mai, which is Rose de Mai Absolute. But then I have another Rose de Mai. Like, they all have different faucets to them. You should definitely educate yourself on that. That's just my personal opinion if you really want to be able to identify the rose fragrance. With that being said, let's go ahead and start the show. Coming at my honorable mention. This is a fragrance, most of y'all, when I tell you that this has a lot of rose in it, but it has rose and other things going on, most people love this fragrance and frag and don't even know they enjoy a rose fragrance. Is what it is. This is a very seductive, alluring, sophisticated, and classy fragrance. You can wear this dressed up. You can wear this casually or semi-formally. This is just an overall great fragrance. This is coming from the house of YSL. This is Tuxedo. Yes, Tuxedo. I get a rose auto on this. This is rose, patchouli, bourbon vanilla, and ambergris. That is the general makeup of the fragrance. Sure, it has like violet leaves, some peppers, some bergamot. The makeup of this fragrance is a rose auto. That's what I pick up. That's my interpretation of it. They don't list it, they don't say, but based on what I've smelled, my interpretation, I'm smelling a rose auto fragrance. So somewhat of a Turkish rose with patchouli that darkens up the rose. Now, patchouli is a little bit higher than a rose is, but the rose is there. And then I'm getting that bourbon vanilla, slightly boozy, and ambergris, which is giving this like light ambery feel when you combine the bourbon vanilla and the ambergris. A 10 out of 10 fragrance, a masterpiece. This came to Fragcom by Cuba Nose. Was the first one to really start hyping this fragrance up. Always deserves the credit whenever I talk about this fragrance. And that's from the house of YSL. That's Tuxedo. Okay, starting off at my number 5. Now, these are really in no particular order. Like I said, I don't even know which fragrance I'm gonna wear. This fragrance I'm gonna talk about is a very special fragrance to me. It's one of my favorite fragrances within my entire collection. Is it the best smelling fragrance in my collection? No, absolutely not. But it's just on a personal level, one of my favorite fragrances. It is seductive, classy, and romantic, as I said in the video. This is from the house of Maison Christian Dior, and this is Ombre Nuit. This is rose, ambergris, it's peppery, it's warm. It's a fairly linear fragrance, but it is good. The type of rose I get in here is probably a rose amber blend, which you can buy. It says rose amber blend. I get like this rose amber blend. It's a little bit fruity, spicy, almost cinnamony, probably from the Rose Damascena family, kind of the blend with amber. Overall, a excellent fragrance. Now, performance, it sets relatively close to skin. It's not a room filler. It doesn't last as long, but I'm going on a date. I only need a fragrance to last 6 hours. I go nowhere in life outside of work that I need anything to perform longer than 6 hours. That's me. That's my personal take on it. That's a rant for another day. And that's Ombre Nuit from Maison Christian Dior. Coming in number 5 is one of the crown jewels from this fragrance house. It is just in the air, it smells absolutely amazing. This is a beast of a performer. It leaves a monstrous scent trail. A little goes a long way. I talked about this fragrance, probably a year and a half ago when I got it, and then people just started getting it. I guess it hit discounters and everybody started picking it up. So most of y'all know what this fragrance is. This is from the house of Nishane, and that is Ness. An outstanding fragrance. Like, to me, if Ani is the daytime vanilla, Ness is the nighttime seductive vanilla. Now, what I get in this is a lot of osmanthus, this apricot, almost peachy osmanthus. I get powdery violet leaf. I get this almost minty, spicy aromatic, which is coming from the geranium rose, and I get an almost rose auto. It's not jammy, it's more of a citric, clean rose. So it's probably from the rose auto family. You get some leather in here. It's boozy, some oud. So this is like rose oud vanilla, but so many other things going on with this fragrance. It needs its own review for me to really break it down for you. But overall, this is absolutely outstanding. This is perfumery at its highest thing. It is unclonable. It's too complex. Anybody try to clone this just ain't gonna get it right. You just won't. And that's Nishane Ness. Coming in at my third choice is a fragrance I wore last year for Valentine's Day. A lot of people said I put them onto this fragrance. I don't want to take credit for that because a lot of people have talked about the beauty of this fragrance before I started talking about it on the overall grand scheme, but I was talking about it more on IG than I was on YouTube. This is such a warm, classy, well, I would almost say the most seductive date night fragrance you can almost wear, especially around the winter time. This is coming from the house of Rosendo Matu, and this is number 5. This is amber, musk, I get some rose. I get some jasmine sambac that makes it a little creamy. I get jasmine, some white florals in there as well. But this is a floral amber musky fragrance. This performs like a champ. I had my girlfriend, she was in the room. She likes to wear this, and she put that on. She walked out of the room. I walked in the room maybe 30, 20 minutes later, and I can still smell this in the air. This thing lingers. Another fragrance where a little goes a long way. It is absolutely smooth. A man or a woman can wear that. I think this is one of the best date night fragrances you can really wear, to be totally honest. And that's from the House of Rosendo Matu. That's number 5. Coming in at my second choice is an absolute beautiful fragrance. It is one of extreme complexity. This fragrance is unclonable. No clone company is going to be able to not only clone the quality of the fragrance, but the transitions it will never get. This fragrance transitions throughout the entire life of the fragrance. I will get sparks of the opening in the 5, 6, 7 hour mark. This is a gorgeous fragrance, a sexy fragrance. In the opening, it sort of reminds me of my favorite fragrance of all time, and we'll discuss that. This is coming from the House of Spirit of Dubai. This is Majalis. Now, this fragrance right here in the opening, as I said, it sort of reminds me of Blue Sapphire. That candy, fruity, floral thing going on at the top. But this is totally different, where Blue Sapphire is also a beast of a fragrance. You put more than 3 sprays on, you're doing too much. It is like a 24-hour fragrance. If you put it on in the morning, it's going to be there in the daytime. Back to this fragrance. I can't describe it as a regular fragrance. I have to describe it as an experience and a place. Imagine being in Saudi Arabia, somewhere in Saudi Arabia, in somebody's majalis, in their house, one of hospitality. Arabic coffee is being drunk, so you got that nice, beautiful, spicy, almost minty cardamom with coffee. You got a lot of fruity florals. You got shisha that you are smelling. Now, what is shisha? Most people in the West call it hookah. Hookah is the instrument to smoke shisha. There's no such thing as something smells like hookah. It doesn't smell like the instrument. It smells like the scented tobacco that you're smelling. That's the shisha. You got warm spiciness within this fragrance. You get some cinnamon. It's leathery. It's resinish. It's a little powdery because you have some powdery florals in there. I get a lot of osmanthus, a little bit of cacao. It is a lot going on. I feel like the rose element in this, I'm getting something from the Rose Damascena family. Almost a little jammy, but not fruity, almost honeyed. It is a gorgeous fragrance. Like I said, it's constantly transitioning. I can't even tell you the top, the mid, the base, because then you in the base, you think it's over, but then you'll get the top, and then you'll get the base again, then you'll get the mids. Constantly changing. A beautiful fragrance. Coming from the House of Spirit of Dubai, this is Majalis. Coming in at my number 1 choice for Valentine's Day. And I don't know if this is what I'm going to go with, but it's definitely worthy to be worn as well as all the other fragrances in this list. This fragrance is velvety, smooth, seductive, warm, enticing. This is coming from the House of Roja Dove, and this is Amber Oud. This is worth the price of admission. You get this brightness in the opening with citruses laid upon a Rose Damascena. It could be a Bulgarian, but it's definitely from the family of Rose Damascena roses. So it could be a damask rose as well. Just a honeyed, raspberry-esque, fruity, warm, cinnamony rose. Just absolutely. And it's also paired with some darkness with the patchouli in the base, as well as with the oud that you have there that's slightly spicy and warm and woody. Very almost a dry oud. It's not overly animalic. This is rose and amber. But what's also there that hasn't really been discussed is there's a nice, beautiful, smooth leather accord here. What makes that leather accord? You have birch, civet, and you also have saffron. And when you combine that, it creates a nice, smooth, leathery feel to the fragrance. And it's also smoothened out with sandalwood in here. This is a 10 out of 10 fragrance, a beautiful fragrance, a beautiful presentation, bottle. It is worth the price of admission. It is one that somebody should definitely save up and get if that's what you want. But then again, I'm not sponsored. I don't care if you buy any of these fragrances. And that's from the House of Roja Dove, and that's Amber Oud. So those were my top 5 with one honorable mention: seductive and romantic fragrances that you can wear for Valentine's Day of 2022. These are my final choices of what I've been wearing. Again, if you want to know what my final choice is going to be, follow me on Instagram. A link will be in the description. That's where I'll be putting my final choice at. Thank you all for supporting and enjoying Rose Week. I really want you all to learn to love, appreciate, and enjoy Rose. The moment I was able to understand and enjoy Rose, it completely opened up my entire palette of fragrances. Instead of just wearing clean citrus style fragrance, it really opened up. And the way they perform, especially when you're dressed up or if you're in a suit, like I said before, men, the most masculine thing a man can wear is a tailored suit. In Rose fragrance, the femininity, the softness, the beauty of it pairs well with that. You get a nice blend of masculine and feminine energy you are portraying to the world that makes you inviting and seductive and mysterious. So with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified when I drop new videos. I'm going to come back with y'all maybe Tuesday with some new heat. Thank you all. I'm going to leave you the way I greeted you, and that's a universal language of peace.